Okay, I have 10:50. So let's get started, gang. If you're not driving and you're able to, can you come on screen so that our wonderful guest speaker can see your lovely faces and engage with you? So that way she can tell exactly what's going on. Thanks, Logan. Brittany, you look kind of like a ceiling. I thought you were going to be different.
There she is.
There you are. No problem, Serenity. Thank you. Okay, I think we'll just jump right into it. Do you mind doing your own introduction?
Not at all.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, well, good morning. My name is Miss Gwen, and I serve as your Director of Career Services. You may know recently, within the past couple of years, the college changed its format, and we are now the College of Business, Health, and Human Services. So I have been Director of Career Services for almost 10 years now for the College of Business, and then a couple of years ago, the college changed and reorganized, and so now I get to work with you, and I am very excited to get to meet you all and get to know you better. I have been helping a little bit with the career fair that's coming up. I will tell you, I have been on this campus probably longer than most of you have been alive. I was hired in the previous century to work here, and I have served different functions, but as I said, I have been career services now for about 10 years. So, Dr. Ladd, can I just start in?
Yes, please do so. Thank you. Thank you for
Okay.
coming today, especially to let us know your experience and your expertise, and to talk on these very important topics to our career-focused students here. We have a great group here, and I'm excited for you to get to share some things with them.
So, and I will just tell y'all, this is I want this to be very casual and interactive. So at any point, if you've got a question or anything, stop me. And I'm trying to make sure y'all there we go. Now, can you see my screen? Dressed to get the job? Okay, good deal. I'm seeing head shakes. So, all right. I do want this to be interactive. So, question: how long do you think it takes to make a first impression?
Five seconds.
5 seconds. Okay. Anybody say 30 seconds?
I was going to say almost immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Like as soon as you walk through the door.
Exactly. And unfortunately, a lot of first impressions are very superficial, if you will. Just based on how you present yourself. And you can make a first impression just within a second or two. And employers do that with potential employees. But think about your interactions with different people in the public. Don't you do that as well? I mean, if you go to a restaurant and your server has dirt on their hands, or they're unkept, or maybe they've got long stringy hair and it seems to be and everything, don't you go, ugh, I wonder how clean the kitchen is? So just think, it takes just a second to make a first impression. So let's start with a definition of a dress code, because right now we're going to talk about how to dress to get the job. So do y'all work in a place that has a dress code right now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so give me an example of just, don't go through the whole code, but what is it that is expected or not allowed in your dress code?
We can't wear jeans unless it's with the UAMS t-shirt.
Okay, so you can wear jeans, but it has to have your company logo t-shirt. Can the jeans have holes in them?
No.
No. Okay. Logan, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yes, ma'am. I work at an accounting office, so we pretty much have to wear khaki pants or slacks, dress pants, and a button-up shirt or a polo shirt, something along that nature. So no jeans, no tennis shoes. It's got to be dress shoes, khaki pants, everything like that.
Okay. So think a dress code, and also just know that a dress code most of the time is directed at one person or maybe two, right? It's usually because a couple of people along the way have pushed the envelope. They've tested the management and said, oh, so we can wear jeans? Okay, well, my jeans have holes in them, but they're jeans, right? Well, Serenity, you've already commented that at your place of employment, you can wear jeans, but not with holes. So now a lot of times you'll notice in a dress code for a company, it'll say denim, no holes, but it's just a set of rules. And yes, we have to have them written to explain what is expected, how you are to present yourself while you're at work. And it is a lot of times, if you're working in an organization that's large enough, the dress code may be different for different departments or different areas. Some people, maybe they're on the front lines, they need to wear professional clothing. However, you may have an IT department or a maintenance department, and they dress differently. So also know that within an organization, it could be you're expected to dress differently than other members of the organization. So some advantages of a dress code. We've already talked about how long it takes to make a first impression. I always live by the rule of don't dress for the job you have, dress for the job you want. Because some people are looking at you and they may see some potential in you. They may think, oh, Logan's going to be a great manager someday. But if they've never seen you wear a blazer to work, and maybe the managers wear blazers, then they have to be able to you've got to paint them a picture. They have to be able to see you in that role. You do establish a reputation, how you dress at work. I'll ask you, if you go to Target, and, I work on campus, so there's a Target relatively close to campus right down the road. How do you know that somebody works at Target?
They have a logo or their ID tag.
And they usually wear red.
Yes, they have on a red shirt and khaki pants, right? And it various colors of red, but yes, they're usually wearing some combination there. So that's they're establishing their credibility. Like, you can look around and you think, oh, I need some help. Well, who is it that's going to help you? It could be the person wearing the red shirt. So, you might be careful with wearing red to Target, because I might stop you and ask you to help me. But in some positions, depending on how you're dressed, you command respect. Some organizations don't allow for for casual attire because they feel like the productivity goes down. They also want their employees to look a certain way. And then, how do you feel just personally when you put your power suit on? We all have our favorite outfit, right? How does it make you feel? I like this to be interactive, by the way.
Good. You get to dress up, I guess, look good, feel good, sort of thing.
Exactly. It kind of boosts your confidence. You kind of, maybe throw those shoulders back a little bit and, walk a little taller because you know that you look good and people may comment, although you have to be careful today with Title IX, but people might compliment you on what you're wearing.
I always had a pinstripe suit that I would always wear to court. I had one suit that I would always wear when I testified in court, and it was because I knew all the attorneys would be dressed in suits and ties. I always wore a pinstripe suit, and it always just made me, like you said, it was like I heard the Rocky theme in the background when I would put it on because it was my favorite suit, and so it did make a huge difference.
Yeah, and Dr. Ladd, you were going into court, right? I mean, and I don't know about you, but sometimes attorneys can be rather intimidating. That's their job, to interrogate and try to find maybe holes in your testimony. But when you look the part, you feel the part, right? And you say, I deserve a spot at the table. I'm dressed like you. And we'll talk about it more in a minute, but it doesn't have to cost a lot of money to dress the part. So ladies, I'm going to pick on you for a couple of minutes, and we're going to go through what I consider to be professional business attire. A lot of times I make the comment, you may hear me say, suit it up. Okay. That means and you don't have to wear a suit per se, but you need to have on a blazer or a jacket or some type of garment in addition to just maybe a blouse and a pair of pants. Your shoes say a lot. Good grief, is summer ever going to end? It's hot as Hades outside. I was burning. I could not get cool yesterday, and it looks like the forecast is the same way for the week. However, if I were going to a job interview or meeting an important client, I would have on closed-toed shoes, maybe a little heel, but I would not be wearing, not necessarily flip-flops, but the shoe, sandals that kind of flop and they make that noise. No, you don't want to do that. And I know it's 100 degrees today, but I would still dress appropriately. My nails. So I'm not the best person to talk about fingernails, but mine are clear. I've just got a clear coat on them. They're pretty short because I really don't have time to spend. I don't have time to go get a manicure, but the important thing is, ladies, make sure, your nails, if you are going on a job interview or you're going to the career fair, you don't want these long weapons and painted, green and blue and purple. Make it kind of a subtle color if you like color, but don't be too where that is what they see. I still remember this. Years ago, I interviewed someone to be an advisor here at the university, and she had long hair and she had long green fingernails. And she messed with her hair a bunch, because she was nervous. And every time she did this, I would see these big green things coming out of her hair. I can't tell you what her name is right now. And, I don't remember. She didn't get the job. But the green fingernails, that's what stood out to me. So, tattoos. I know some people have them. Lots of people have them. Once again, you're making a first impression. I would strongly suggest you cover them until you get the job. And then decide, is that a deal breaker? I am a former student of mine, and in fact, he went on to get his graduate degree, and phenomenal student, 4.0 student. His first job, and he had sleeves, but his first job, they told him he could not show his tattoos. So once again, what's the weather forecast for this week? He really wanted to work there, and he really had a great job. So he wore long sleeve shirts year round because that was the dress code for that company. Ladies, your jewelry, keep it at a minimum. Today I have on one bracelet. Sometimes I wear 2 or 3. If I wear 2 or 3, they make noise. They jingle jangle. And I tend to talk with my hands. So I would suggest keep your jewelry to a minimum, just like a small stud or maybe pearl earrings if you wear earrings. Don't wear lots of necklaces. Just if you do wear jewelry, just keep it to a minimum. Undergarments. This is touchy, right? Nobody wants to talk about, my mom calls it B's and P's. And if y'all don't know what B's and P's stand for, it's a separate sidebar. But yes, wear your undergarments. Okay. No, don't show them. All right. So I shouldn't see you, messing with your bra strap throughout the interview, or know what kind of underwear you have on. Right. So wear them, but don't show them. You can't be too dressy. I have seen students come to career fairs and they're wearing what I would consider something that you would wear maybe to the river market on a Saturday night. If you think, oh, this looks good, I'm going to go out with my girlfriends afterwards, it's probably not appropriate for you to wear to a career fair. Perfume. Just don't. Okay, just don't do it. When you are in an environment like a career fair or a job interview, you get nervous, or I would get nervous. A lot of times employers have allergies. Once again, you don't want to be that candidate that stands out because I could smell you before I saw you. Also, if you are a smoker or a vapor, no, please don't mix. Don't think that I'm going to go smoke a cigarette because I'm nervous, and then I'll just put a little, Bath and Body Works on before I go in. That's even worse combination. So please don't do that. Your makeup, if you wear makeup, it should be a minimum. Okay, but don't go overboard. Don't look like you're about to be on TV or something. And then your hair. I mentioned the girl with the green fingernails. She messed with her hair a bunch. If you have really long hair, try to pull it back, or maybe, braid it or fix it in some way so that it's not distracting. So ladies, any question about what is considered professional business attire?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So Logan, are you the only gentleman on here? Do I have another man?
I'm not sure about that.
No, I think he's our only one today.
Oh, Logan, I'm sorry. I'm going to pick on you. I'm a picker, okay? So business dress, Logan. Logan, do you have a suit?
Yes, ma'am, I do have a suit.
Great. Okay. So when I say suited up, that means get that suit out. Your shoes, one thing I will say, and perhaps at the accounting firm, you can get away with wearing, I call them tire track shoes. They're a more casual, they're not tennis shoes, but they have that, kind of rubber sole. Those are not business. If you're going to suit it up, don't wear those shoes. You need to have a pair of dress shoes. They need to be polished. They need to look like you're ready to go, like you're dressed and they look nice. The rule with socks, you've got two ways you can go. You can either match your socks to your shoes or to your suit. Now, Logan, do you have any happy socks? Do you know what happy socks are?
I actually don't. No, ma'am. I actually just have plain color socks, black, gray, just those. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good deal. That's fine. And happy socks are fine once you get the job. Okay, but you don't want to be the one that goes to a job interview and you sit down, you might cross your legs and you've got, I don't know, like bottles of bourbon or something on your socks, or they get, some of these happy socks get real happy. They get crazy. But the rule is either match your shoes or match your suit, match your pants. Same rule with the nails. Make sure that they're clean, they're trimmed, don't have any like hangnails, or maybe you actually changed your own oil in your car over the weekend. Make sure you don't have any dirty fingernails. We've covered the tattoos. Once again, figure out what the dress code is at the organization, and then find out, is that a deal breaker? If you can't cover your tattoos. For gentlemen, keep your jewelry to a minimum. If you wear a ring or if you wear a watch, I will say though, and I didn't cover this with the ladies, but this is for all of you. If you have an Apple Watch, turn it off, turn your notifications off, because that can be distracting if you're in an interview or even at a career fair. I find it interesting, you might be at a restaurant or at a social event or whatever, and all of a sudden, people are just mesmerized with their watches. Well, they're not looking at what time it is. They're reading a text message or reading an email, and then they're tapping their wrist. So if you are in that type of situation, turn your notifications off. Undergarments, Logan, same thing. Wear them, but don't show them. And typically, if you're suiting it up, you're going to have a dress shirt on. You need to have an undershirt on under your dress shirt. And cologne, keep it to a minimum. Same rules apply. You might get nervous. It might be stuffy. And that just makes that smell kind of permeate. And your hair needs to be clean, neat, trimmed. Looks like you might have a little facial hair. Is that right, Logan? So once again, where is it? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to work? Figure out what the dress code is. And then decide, are you married to that facial hair that I'm not shaving it no matter what? Or are you willing to shave it to get the job of your dreams? Now, let's talk a minute. And Dr. Ladd, am I doing okay? Am I covering what you wanted me to cover?
Yeah, perfect.
So let's talk a minute about business casual. Oh, where do you begin? Okay. Before the pandemic, I really knew what business casual was. And you probably did too. And in fact, Logan, what you described at the accounting firm, in my definition, that's business casual. But now that we're hopefully, post-pandemic, right? People are going back to the office, going back to work. People are going back to restaurants and social events. What is business casual now? What does that look like? So my definition, and Dr. Ladd invited me to come speak, so I'm giving you my opinion and what I've heard from various businesses and organizations in our community. Business casual is a nice shirt or blouse for ladies, maybe slacks, skirts, a casual skirt, not necessarily a suit skirt. Yes, you can wear a jacket or a blazer because that is more casual than wearing a suit. Dresses are great. Those are more business casual. And then socks and shoes. There's, depending on the dress code, what kind of socks are appropriate, what kind of shoes are appropriate. Let's go over a few no-nos. Now, I pulled these no-nos from a couple of different businesses in our community in Central Arkansas. I asked them, what is your dress code? Will you please? And they sent me pages and pages. So I pulled this out from, and I did look at diverse organizations. So no printed messages. Sometimes it may not be offensive to you, but it could be offensive to your coworker. No backless or strapless. No tank tops or muscle shirts. No crop tops. I mean, this picture I have here, that's cute. That is a cute top. But to me, that looks like what someone would wear if they're going down to the River Market, or, maybe they're going to exercise, not necessarily going to work. You can tell the top that this picture, the lady has on, is kind of a mesh. That is really considered more casual. No body piercings. We've already covered tattoos, and I know we're in the South, and I know there's some seasons coming up. Deer season, duck season, I don't know what else there is, turkey season, but some organizations don't allow camouflage at work. So once again, figure out what it is, what's the dress code. So we talked about shoes, no tennis shoes, although I do like those tennis shoes that I've got a picture of up there. No flip-flops, no hoodies. I don't know, but when do you like to wear a hoodie?
All of the time.
All of the time, even when it's 100 degrees outside?
Yeah, I don't go out much.
Oh, okay. But so why are you wearing it all the time, Brittany?
It's really, really comfy.
Yeah, they are. The hoodies I have, I like to wear them when I'm going to be hanging around the house all day. It might occasionally when it snows in Arkansas, I might be snoozing on the couch. I don't wear a hoodie to work. So once again, just keep that in mind. What impression are you giving if you were to wear a hoodie to work? We've already covered the jeans and denim. And then for most positions, okay, not all, but most positions, you probably won't be able to wear shorts. Now, the college has a golf tournament once a year. And I will tell you, and it's usually in the late spring, I wear shorts to the golf tournament. And I'm the point person in charge of the golf tournament. So a couple of days before the golf tournament, when I'm trying to get set up and I'm moving stuff to the golf course and all, I will wear shorts to work with my UALR logo shirt. But I don't wear shorts any other time, okay? Because that's not acceptable. However, you do know there are some organizations that it may be okay. So once again, learn your dress code. So I just wanted to show you a couple of comparisons of what would be considered business professional. Great pantsuit on this lady. And then what you might consider business casual. Nice blouse, cute pants, and a pair of dress shoes. Now, for me personally, those dress shoes might be a little high. I used to wear those, but I don't anymore. But that's just for me personally. Logan, here you go. Here's your business professional suited up versus a more business casual. Now, do y'all agree with these pictures?
Yes.
That, in your opinion, that this would be a good business professional, business casual, and then gentleman? Logan.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I would add too, just in the criminal justice field, something a little different that maybe especially about the ladies' shoes. We would always joke when we went to a meeting that we could tell who the salesperson was and who the criminal justice or security professionals were. Because in the criminal justice field, you can also tell who works in the office and who is part of the boots on the ground, so to speak. The reason they say boots on the ground is because in criminal justice, sensible shoes are key. Because you literally may have to run at any moment. You literally will be touring facilities. Things could fall on your feet. You could drop heavy things on your feet. So although my daughter is vertically challenged and wears heels all the time, but I would suggest to her not to do that if she was in the criminal justice field. So sensible shoes are a key to everyone in the room, that you understand the job and you understand the job requirements, and they're going to involve walking and therefore sensible shoes. So I think that in criminal justice, whereas if you were applying in an accounting firm, the ladies probably would wear heels, or in an office or in a high-rise building, that's very appropriate. A law firm, almost all the ladies are going to be wearing heels, but in most criminal justice settings, I would suggest the tiniest of heels or something really sensible. And you can find, it takes a little while to find sensible, cute shoes. Sometimes those two things don't go together, but just, kind of keep an eye out for a pair of those to wear in such events. That's the only thing I would add.
Well, and Dr. Ladd, I would add also, if you're going on a job interview and you touched on it, they might take you for a tour. You might be walking a long way. And if you've got uncomfortable shoes on, you're going to be miserable. I'm too old. And I used to be miserable because the shoes were cute. I'm over that now. They've got to be comfortable and they got to be cute too. But I will pay a little bit more to get a better pair of shoes that feel good. But if you go on a job interview and they say, we'd like to take you on a tour, you need to dress appropriately. You need to be dressed. And then, of course, what Dr. Ladd said, you may have to run at any moment for part of your job duties. So be prepared for that. Okay, so let's have a little fun here for a minute. and I want interaction. Okay, so take your mute off and answer yes or no if you think this is professional.
No.
No.
Good answer. These are expensive shoes, right? And y'all see people wearing them, don't you? I see them when, I go out and about. I see students on campus wearing them. No, those aren't business professional.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And for me, Dr. Ladd, I'm right there with your daughter. I am vertically challenged. So this is my sweet spot of a heel height, because I can walk all day in them and be comfortable. I do like to wear a little bit higher heels sometimes, but not if I'm going to be on my feet a lot. Yes or no?
No.
Yes.
The top, yes, but the bottom, no.
Yeah.
Like the
pants,
pants.
no.
Yeah.
I would try to trick you. Absolutely. The top is great, right? I mean, great blouse, great jacket, but save your camo to go to the woods.
Yes.
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 I think that's cute. I love that purse. Once again, though, Dr. Ladd brought up the shoes, and you can tell those shoes are pretty high, but that is a great, business casual outfit, nice blouse, nice accessory, just a simple pair of black pants.
No.
No. Who wants to see that? I mean, that looks great if you're at the beach and you're going, to have dinner, or, or maybe you are going somewhere for a Saturday brunch or something, but not for the office or work environment.
Yes.
Yes. This would be a great summer dress. And ladies, I don't know about y'all, but dresses are easy. When I wear a dress to work, I can get ready really quick, as opposed to trying to put together a blouse and a pair of pants and a jacket and a scarf and all that. You throw on a dress and you're good to go.
No.
No, isn't that cute though? Brittany, do you have a hoodie like that?
I do not.
Well, it's for sale. Okay. I pulled it off the Tito's website, and I would make two comments about that. In addition to the fact that this breaks 2 to 3 rules. First off, it's a hoodie. Second, it has wording on it. And it might be seen by some as risque or offensive, and the fact that it's also alcohol. But now it might be cute if you worked in a liquor store, but not for Logan's accounting firm. I don't think that would go over well.
Yes.
Yes. I love a good sweater set. I think that is a safe, business casual option. Now, if this were a solid color, you could play with it and, maybe put a scarf with it or a fun necklace or something to accessorize it more. But yeah, you can't go wrong with a good sweater set for business casual.
No, but I love the color.
Same here, same. Love it, but no.
Well, and she's breaking 2 rules, isn't she?
Possibly 3.
Yes, yes, possibly 3. Because she's showing her tattoo. In my opinion, she is showing lots of chest area, but you know, for a first impression, and yes, maybe you love the color, but once again, you want to get the job, right? Then you can figure out if you have some flexibility with hair color.
No,
You didn't sound too sure about that. Are you sure?
not really.
I would say no. Unless you have a medical or religious reason, I would not wear anything on my head. Back to the golf tournament on that day, I wear a hat. Yes, because if I'm running and gunning for about 13, 14 hours, my hair is not what I want to be thinking about. But that is one time a year that I will do that. The rest of the time, you know, try to keep your hair clean and neat.
No.
No.
I mean, who wants to see that? And people sometimes wear that to work. And I will tell y'all a rule. You're not old enough yet, but one day you will be, okay? If you did it once, the second time it comes around, you're probably too old. Does that make sense, Dr. Ladd?
Yep, perfect.
So if leggings were popular when you were, you know, in your 20s, then the next time it cycles back around that people wear leggings, you're probably too old to participate. Sorry, but just that's, and once again, that I've heard that before, but that's just kind of my rule.
Yep,
If
save the yoga pants for yoga.
Thank you. Yes. Or to go with your hoodie when you're hanging out at the house.
Yes.
I love this outfit. And once again, I love that bag too. The shoes might be questionable and definitely, you know, those aren't running shoes, right? But yes, that is and they're leggings, but it looks appropriate on her. Her blouse is long enough that it covers parts that should be covered. So I mentioned that it shouldn't cost a lot of money for you to dress professional. I encourage students a lot of times to go to Goodwill. Goodwill, I know people who donate to Goodwill, and I know what they donate, and sometimes I wish they would give me a heads up so I could get out there when they donate. But that is a great organization, but it's not something that you just say, oh, I'm going to go to Goodwill. Oh, I didn't find anything. I'll never go back. Goodwill is cyclical. People donate, you know, like they do their spring cleaning, or, you know, when we get a real cold snap, then people start getting their, you know, cool weather clothes out. And then they realize, oh, I don't want that anymore, or that doesn't fit anymore. So it's very cyclical. So find a Goodwill that you like and frequent. You can find really good, reasonable clothes at a great price. But I have a better bargain for you. You as a student at UA Little Rock, you have free access to the Trojan Career Closet. Has anybody heard about it? Logan says no. Brittany says yes. Has anybody been here?
No, I have not.
Okay, what are you waiting on? Now, one thing I will tell you, this picture was taken a while back because we've got, if you can imagine, probably twice as many clothes in our career closet right now. But that is now under my responsibility. That famous, you will learn when you're applying for jobs and you look at your job description, other duties as assigned. So I have the wonderful opportunity to run the career closet. So this is a couple examples of our students that we have helped, that we have dressed recently. And don't they look fabulous? So you can come, and another student, you can come to the career closet. And so maybe you have a job interview, or maybe you're planning to attend the career fair next month. Maybe you just want a new outfit. You know, Logan, maybe, you need a couple of new golf shirts to wear to work. We have what gets donated. All right. We're not Dillard's and we're not Walmart, but we do have quite a variety. We have men's as well as women's clothing. We have accessories. You can see in that picture, we do have some shoes. So come get your free outfit, and outfit being 5 items. And we are, I kid students when they come to shop with me that I didn't major in math. So my idea of counting to 5 might be different than what a math teacher would do, because what this wonderful student has on right now, that is a dress with a blazer and a pair of dress shoes. I would count that as 1 item, because the gentleman on the left, he's wearing a suit. That counts as 1 item. I'm not going to say that's 2 items. So I am very generous with how I count. So if you would like to come see our career closet, just send an email to my coworker, Miss Cindy, and I've got her email up there, and she will get you scheduled, and one of us will meet you and have some fun trying on some new clothes. And some of the clothes still have the tags on them. So, keep that in mind. Okay. So, Dr. Ladd, what have I failed to cover, or what questions do we have?
Do you suggest that when a student is going for an interview, or do you suggest they ask what the appropriate clothing is, or should they just always assume to go a certain way? If it's an interview, it automatically, even if the association dresses business casual, is an interview a reason to go ahead and suit up anyway?
So, great question. A lot of times the company will tell you, they may put it in your the details about your interview if they send you information about where to go. But I'm always going to tell you, you want to be the best dressed there. You want to look the part. You want to look like, hire me. And you never know. It could be that, that's their business casual day, and they may be casual when they're interviewing you that day, but the other days of the week they're wearing more suit attire. So I would say it is fine to ask, but I would always say be ready, suited up for a job interview.
Yes, I agree. And there's nothing that says before you go to an interview, you can't go to the location. You can sit in the parking lot. You can go to the front lobby for a minute and just see how everybody's dressed. So if you don't feel comfortable, if you're an introvert, you don't feel comfortable asking those questions, there's nothing wrong with going to see what your future coworkers might be wearing and then match that as well.
And other, get your detective skills out, look at their website. Sometimes they have pictures of their employees on their website. Then you can get an idea of how they look, or just if you have your LinkedIn account, go on your LinkedIn account and see who you can find that works there. Perhaps you can ask a friend, maybe you look it up and go, oh, I didn't realize, my classmate, I was in class with him last semester and he works there. Well, reach out, ask him, what do people wear? But I'm always going to tell you to prepare as if you're going to meet the president of the company. And
It's so true, because you never know when that might accidentally happen.
Yeah.
You could be, and that's something to remember. You could be talking to the president of the company in the elevator on the way up to your interview and not even know it. So also always be aware. Don't go into an interview talking on your phone in the elevator, things like that. Put your earbuds up, take the sunglasses off your head, leave all that kind of stuff behind before you even walk in the door. Your interview starts when you step out of your car onto their property. So don't let trash fall out of your car whenever you're stepping out of your car. If you're a smoker, do that before you get on their property. Don't stand by your car. Don't stand in front of their building smoking. It's your own choice, but if you're really into and want the job, as you said, you need to prepare to put that first impression. You can go over the rules and decide if it's a keeper job for you or not based on their rules. And if you're a diehard smoker and they won't allow smoking, then that's something that you get to decide. But you don't ever want to take any of your options off the table until you decide to take them off the table. You don't want it to be the other side. So.
And all the cameras that companies have these days, that yes, your interview starts when you step out of your car.
Well,
And
even how you drive, right? Don't drive in there all crazy. Don't park in a spot that you're not supposed to park in. If you don't have a handicap sticker, it doesn't matter how late you are or if there are no other parking. Don't park in a spot where it says, reserved for, employee of the month, and don't park in that spot because everything, as you said, is on camera and will be watched.
and figure out how long it's going to take you to get there.
Yeah.
And pay attention to the weather. Just like we don't know how to drive in the snow, we don't know how to drive in the rain either. So, it starts raining, or you wake up that morning and it's raining. Well, guess what? It's going to take you a little bit longer to get there. So drive it out beforehand if you need to. Sometimes there's buildings downtown and their parking deck is confusing until you've been there a couple of times. I know I get confused between the Regions Bank building and the Bank of America Bank building and where the part and then what is it now? Is it the Simmons?
Yeah, Simmons building. Yeah.
Their tower is kind of catty corner. Their parking deck is catty corner from where their building is.
Yeah.
So figure it out first. Don't be saying, oh, it only takes me 15 minutes to get to that point downtown. Well, add another 15 minutes to do the parking deck and get in the right building.
Do any of you out there have any questions? It's a perfect opportunity to ask an expert. Go ahead, Brittany.
What is your general rule on accessories such as scarves and purses and stuff when doing a job interview, or even just for every day at the office kind of thing?
Great question. I know you can't really see me, but I have my scarf on today with my blazer. I like scarves personally, and I like to have fun with them. You know, this one's kind of long and skinny, so sometimes I might do something different with it, wear it around my neck, you know, wear it inside like this. You know, I looked at it though and said, it's not to beat a dead horse, but it's hot today. And so this will make me, I won't wear it like this for long. I like scarves. I think they just add a little something to your outfit. Handbags, purses, once you get the job, you know, what difference does it make? But if you go on a job interview, I would say maybe a small clutch. But what is it that you need to take into a job interview anyway? You're probably going to need a portfolio with your resume, and you'll need to put your car keys somewhere, but you don't need to bring your phone. They would probably tell you if you need your ID. And perhaps you will be going into a building where you have to show your ID to, you know, go through security or something like that. But otherwise, I would say for a job interview or a career fair, keep it to a minimum. Don't bring your Buddha bag or a big backpack.
Yeah, that's what I put my ID in my portfolio, and then I take my one car key fob and put that in my pocket and leave the rest of the house keys and office keys and all that locked in the car, because like you said, you don't want to jingle when you're walking, but that's exactly what I do.
And this is what I'm talking about for a portfolio, you know, and mine is black. It's got my, I don't know if you can tell or not, it's got my initials here. This was a gift to me. Now I use it, so it's got junk in it, but it was a gift to me from UALR once upon a time. I don't know if y'all can tell or not, but it does have the logo in here. So, and I have a place in here that I put business cards, you know, because it gets used. It needs to get cleaned out for sure, but it gets used. And this is you making an investment in yourself. If you go and get one of these, you don't have to get top of the line, but I wouldn't get the like canvas kind. I would get a faux leather, but not, don't go too cheap, but you don't have to spend a lot of money. But this looks better than like, normally I have a file folder on my desk. I don't now, but to do this over a file folder. However, I do have just some, like maroon folders. So if you don't have a portfolio, we can find something for you to take. But yeah, what Dr. Ladd said, that's all you need. You need your ID, your key fob, but not your phone. Before we officially started, my phone rang, my cell phone rang, and I was like, oh, I got to turn that off because I'm in class. A job interview. Yeah. And I've got crazy stories I can tell you on just about everything, but years ago, I had an employer who was here on campus doing interviews. And so I checked in on him. How's it going? And all. And he's like, yeah, let me tell you about this one student we interviewed. I'm like, yeah. He goes, his phone rang in the interview. I'm like, oh. He goes, yeah, he answered it. I'm like, oh, no. Okay. Rule number 1, why was your phone with you in the interview? But rule number 2, why did you think you needed to answer it?
And even if you think, well, I'll put it on silent and it'll be okay. But what if it's a silver alert or an amber alert and it comes through the silent and makes that loud
Yep.
alert noise? Or if it buzzes and it's in your pocket with your keys, and then your keys start vibrating. And so,
And you told your mama about this big interview, and she's been sending you all these good vibes, and she's waiting to hear from you, and she can't remember what time you told her it was. And so she starts calling you because she wants to know how you did. And you're in the middle of the interview because she thought you said 2:00 and it was 2:30, and and it happens. Okay.
yep, 1 out of every 4 classes I've taught in the last 5 weeks, my mom has texted me during one of them inevitably, because she's excited and wants to hear how it's going. And I'm like, well, Mom, it was going, like literally it was going while you were texting me. Thank you though.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Dr. Ladd, I used to tell my students, unless you're on the transplant team, I don't want to see your phone. Well, guess what? It was a night class, and a student came up to me and he showed me his badge from the hospital, and he's on the transplant team.
Well, my family was so sick of me always being interrupted, being in security and emergencies happening. And so I went with my sister and my daughter to a concert in Memphis. And they said, well, the only way we're going to go with you is if you don't answer your phone. Like something has to be on fire, you know? And so we had a good time. We went to a concert. We were at a little piano bar, and then my phone starts ringing and they're like, you promised. And I looked down at the message, and literally one of my buildings had a fire in it, and my security officers were calling to tell me that the fire department was on their way because one of the buildings that we had security condos in had a fire. And so, like you say, even if you say those things, in security or criminal justice, it could very well happen.
Yep. Okay, so are you all emailing Miss Cindy to get your appointment time? And we do ask that you do it once a year. So you need to be a current student, and then you come once a year. That way it's, equitable for everybody. But like I said, you have other options. For those of you that live in the Central Arkansas area, I keep saying I'm going to go check this place out, but I've heard wonderful things about a store called Live Thankfully. It's a nonprofit. It's on Rodney Parham, and I've been told that they have wonderful clothing items at reasonable prices. So, that's something else. You don't have to spend a lot of money to look nice.
There's half of half in North Little Rock. My daughter can't go because it's too many people and too much stuff all in one place. So if you have anxiety issues, it's kind of like a huge flea market, even though it's an inside store. But their stuff, as you said, is very cyclical. So you may go in one time and all they have is, bathing suit and undergarments. And then the next time you may go and all they have is purses. But there have been a lot of times that my daughter was a ballroom dancer, and there have been a lot of times that we would go in during prom season or after prom season, and you could find some really nice dress stuff over in the prom area that's not, or if you have to go to a wedding or something like that. It's a really good place too. Or if you get a good suit at the Trojan Closet, and you could go there and maybe find some button-up undershirts in some different solid colors, really cheap. And they do different sales too. So sometimes their stuff is 50% off, and sometimes it's, everything in the whole store is $9.99. So it's kind of like you say, it's one of those things you just have to go buy once a month or something just to find the stuff in there.
Vivian mentions Clothes Mentor, that they're good. And also, some of you may know about this. It's, a 45-minute drive, and maybe you can work in another field trip as you go. But there is a Dillard's Clearance Center in Pine Bluff. And periodically they will have, like today dresses are $5, or, all shoes are $5 or whatever. I have been once. I I was on a time crunch and I had other people waiting for me. So I just did a lap and walked through. I will tell you, I was very impressed because I had pictured, like Dr. Ladd said, I could envision just Dillard's throwing all their sale racks in there and it being a mess. It was very organized. But that, if you are building your professional wardrobe, it might be worth you loading the car up with some friends and driving to Pine Bluff one day and checking out the Dillard's Clearance Center. It is the only thing that is where the big mall used to be. There was a mall in Pine Bluff and now it's just the Dillard's Clearance Center that's open. And it is right across the street from an establishment called the Saracen. So if you, like I said, wanted to take a field trip and have a little fun in Pine Bluff.
Any other questions? Has anybody got any questions? Comments, funny stories, anecdotes?
Yes, Sam, I have one question.
Okay, sure.
So would our suits need to be dark in color, or can they be like bright but not like neon, or do they just have to be dark?
So for a job interview, I would probably stick with a navy or gray or black. Once you get the job, you can add some color. But also with a gray or navy or black, you can add a splash of color. I call them shells, they're just simple. Well, I've got one on today. It's a white shell. It's sleeveless. I've got black, but I also have hot pink and royal blue and an animal print one. So you could maybe add a little color there, but I probably, for a job interview, I don't think I would I wouldn't go bright. I wouldn't go bright and I wouldn't go white either.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
What about like a close fitted top and like loose pants?
A close fitted top and loose pants for a job interview?
Yeah, like I have a turtleneck, but it's kind of close fitting, but like I'd pair it with like some loose fitting pants.
Do you have a jacket to wear with that?
Yeah, I have a few. I don't really have that many jackets, so no, I guess not.
Okay, so Serenity, send an email to Miss Cindy and we will find you a jacket. And if you like that outfit and that's what you want to wear, bring it with you when you come to the career closet and we'll start building on that outfit and we'll show you how you can change it up and you can wear it different ways.
Okay.
I will tell y'all an experiment I did one year. I taught a class. I wore the same black suit. Did I tell you this, Dr. Ladd? Did I tell you about that? I wore the same black suit on the same day every week for a month. And on the fourth time I did it, I asked the class if my suit looked familiar. Now, I'm standing in a classroom and 30 people are looking at me. And no one recognized that it was the same suit. I changed it up every time. I wore different jewelry. I wore a scarf. I wore a different blouse underneath. But I did that to prove a point that, a lot of times I hear students say, I can't afford a professional wardrobe. Well, nobody's paying attention to what you're wearing. Okay. Ladies, if you don't have a great pair of black pants and a black skirt, that needs to be top of your list. That is what I would suggest you start with, because you can build out from both of those and you can mix them and match them. Some days I'm in the mood to wear a skirt. Some days it's too cold or, it just doesn't look right. And name a fabric, I probably have a pair of black pants. I've got linen and wool and cotton and, and I've got some that are cropped and some that look good with boots. But I have built that over the years. I didn't go out and buy 6 pair of black pants in one shopping spree. I bought a nice pair and they've been with me, as long as I can fit into them, I'm still gonna wear them. Some days that's a challenge for me, but I try.
Yeah, I couldn't believe whenever I just recently moved and we just kept finding black pants and finding black pants. My mom and dad were like, how many pairs of black pants do you have? And I was like, well, sometimes I was traveling and, I wouldn't have, or I get stuck in security or, criminal justice. Sometimes you go for one day and then you end up staying 3. So I would always have to go buy another pair. Or, the washing machine breaks and, you got to go buy another pair of black pants. So I literally have an entire tub full of black pants. So, but as you say, some of those are better quality and last a long time. Some of the cheap ones really are starting to show their wear, and I tossed some of them. I donated them to Goodwill, but yeah, it was time for me to part ways because I really had too many black pants.
Yeah. And I'm the same way about skirts. I've got a couple of black skirts that I wear in the summer. I've got some that are more winter, some that are long, that I wear with short ankle boots. It just grows.
Yeah.
Has this been helpful? Do you feel better about like your next shopping trip?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and if you go to the closet, as she said, if you go to the Trojan closet and you have something that you really makes you feel good, bring that with you so that they can help you find accessories that go with that, some mix and match items or something, to that effect.
We
To help
have
you feel better.
shoes. Ladies, anybody wear 6.5? Brittany? Okay, we had a lady that donated about 65 pairs of 6.5 shoes. Now they're all flats, but they are super cute, great brands. So I'll make a deal with you if you'll take 5 pair of 6.5 shoes, please. But we have Logan, we have ties for the gentlemen. I told you we've got some golf shirts, but we also have dress shirts. We have more casual dress shirts, and then we have some that you would wear with a suit. Khaki.
And I think you'd be surprised that not only does dressing, as you said, for the job that you want, but knowing and feeling appropriately dressed gives you a power. And so some of you that may be introverts, that may be a little shyer in, out in public and settings and big groups, being dressed appropriately will also help settle those nerves. So that's something that, because my daughter is a ballroom dancer and there was a dress code at the ballroom, she learned when she was 14, before I go anywhere, I ask what the dress code is. Before you go to a wedding, before you go to a party, ask. That way you don't run the risk of being underdressed or overdressed. Right. You don't want to go to a barbecue and you dress up in what you think are barbecue clothes, and it's literally at a country club and everybody there are wearing suits and ties, so the easiest way to make sure that doesn't happen and you're not in an awkward or uncomfortable situation is to ask what the dress code is, and then know which categories those are in, and have a goal to have a really good business casual, a really nice casual outfit, a really, nice professional outfit, that way you have options.
And utilize your faculty. Okay. We have been in some of these businesses. And And I may not know the answer, or Dr. Ladd may not know the answer, but another faculty member may. And so it could be that, you know, you ask me and I say, I don't know, but ask Dr. Ladd. I bet she knows because she's been there before, or, you know, I've heard her talk and I know that she's been there. So
Yeah.
if you feel uncomfortable asking the company itself, reach out to us. That's what we're here for.
Most definitely. Well,
And
thank you.
Vivian, it is sad to be a 7.5, but we do have some 7.5s. We just don't have 65 pair. So
Okay, well, thank you all for being here. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your wisdom with us. We appreciate it, and can't wait to come to some of your other events, and can't wait to see you at a career fair. And so everybody have a good time, and we will see you Thursday with Conway Police Department as our guest speaker. So we're batting a 1,000 this week as far as guest speakers. So thank you, everybody, and have a good rest of your week. I'll see everybody Thursday.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.